welcome to the Castle Country Real Estate Podcast. I'm Josh Madsen. This is episode number 13 of the podcast, and I'm happy to be back. This is the show where I give you all the general information about what's going on with real estate here in Castle Country, go over some real estate hot tips that you might be able to use, community events, and just general market statistics. So what I want to always start off with is, what does the market look like right now? So in Carbon and Emery County combined, as of today, we have 97 single-family homes available on the market. And in the last 7 days, 5 homes have sold. So what we're seeing, again, more market inventory, not a ton selling, or they're starting to sell a little bit slower. But you can kind of start getting a feel for, where we were at 1 year ago versus where we're at today. A year ago, we might have had combined total of 20 properties on the market, somewhere in that realm, and it's pretty dramatically different. So there's more houses out there for buyers to go look at, and sellers are going to have to just wait a little bit longer than they have in the last 2 years to sell their home. So overall, that's kind of what's going on, just to give you a feel for the numbers and what's happening in the market. So sort of the general market information I wanted to share today is there's a general trend of cooling down. So when we talk about cooling down, we're talking about a hot market where things are starting to sell within 2 to 5, 10 days, to starting to see things be on the market for longer. Like I was mentioning, you're going to see homes be on the market for 30, 60, 90 days, maybe even a little bit longer. Just depends on the property, what people are looking for, and buyers obviously have more of a selection to look for right now. So as far as what is causing the cool down, interest rates are higher, so that's changed the dynamic of what a buyer in this market looks like. Last year, we're looking at interest rates, around 3%. Now we're looking at anywhere from 6 to 7%. So this is a shifting market where we're starting to see buyers that may have qualified a year ago might be out of the market now, or they might be having to do other things to qualify for a loan, and that obviously is going to slow things down a little bit, just because not everybody can qualify at 6% when they qualified at 3%. So other things that are cooling things down are, there's a lot of inflation going on. There's a lot of economic things going on just in general in the country right now. And this is definitely getting people thinking, is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? So I think what we're in is really a transition period where things were moving at such a fast pace, and now we're starting to cool down and kind of get back to normal in some ways, where, it's still a strong market. It's still a good time to sell your home because the value continues to go up. We talked about that on the last podcast. Prices were still up about 8.6% from last year at the same time. But people are starting to look at other factors. So like I said, maybe inflation, gas prices are up. There's things people are starting to save their money, maybe holding on, and they're not sure whether they should get off in the market. And this is causing this general cool down in conjunction with the mortgage rates and all of that going on as well. So another thing that I think that's going on that's very, very important to talk about is the perception of price reductions. So a lot of people may be thinking that they're looking online, they're seeing a home that was listed at a certain price, and now there's a price reduction. And there's two ways to look at this. Some people, I think, are looking at it like there's going to be a downturn in real estate. But like I've said over and over and over again on the podcast, is we really need to pay attention to the supply in the market, meaning how many homes are there, and the demand, how many people are looking for homes. And that still outweighs how many homes are out there. There's still a shortage of homes. But again, who's qualifying to buy? They're going to take more time because there's more inventory on the market. But with these price reductions, I think a lot of what is happening is a year ago, not 6 months ago even, sellers were able to put out a number, say this is what my house is worth. or this is what I want to get out of the house. And a lot of times we saw bidding wars. There's multiple offers on each home and each property. And so the pace was a lot different. And I think what's happening with these price reductions that we're seeing in a lot of cases, and again, this is a generalization, is people were still kind of pricing how it was 6 months ago. And I think what's happening is they're pricing, and if maybe they got a little too high on the price, thinking they could get more out of the home, and maybe that multiple offer situation is going to be there still, it just isn't. And so I think people are making these adjustments on the fly. They're going, a couple weeks to see, kind of test out the pricing, test out the market, and then they're reducing the price. Now, as a seller, it's good to price your home correctly right off the get-go. That's always my advice to my clients. You want to price correctly to get the right buyers in front of that property so that they have the potential to see the property that they qualify for and they can get in. So pricing is absolutely a necessity to do correctly right from the get-go if you can. But I think these price reductions are more of an adjustment, kind of settling in to this new market with higher interest rates and a lot more inventory on the market. So my prediction is that things are going to start settling out, and we're going to start seeing less price reductions and more just settling in to correct pricing, and probably what it might have looked like 3-4 years ago in the market rather than the last 2 years, which was a very, very unique situation. So that was kind of the main thing I wanted to talk about in terms of why things are cooling down, why the perception of the market's important for us to take into account both on the buyer and the seller side of things. And even if we're holding on to our property, we're a homeowner currently, it's really good to watch these things so you understand the value of your investment in your home and just kind of understand in general what's going on with the economics of the real estate market right now. So I always like to give a little hot tip every week. And today I wanted to talk about applying for a mortgage and why that doesn't have to be scary. So for buyers looking to get into the market with higher mortgage rates, the mortgage process sometimes can be a little bit scary. You might not know what to do. So I want to give you a couple tips that might help you out as a buyer to get into the marketplace right now. So number one, know your credit score. So your credit score and history play a role in your future loan. Know your score, what impacts it, and how to build strong credit. This is incredibly important. That credit score is really going to play a lot into what you qualify for, what kind of payment you can get. And again, as I previously mentioned, people that were able to qualify for a loan at 3% may or may not be able to qualify for a loan at 6 or 6.5 or even 7%. Credit score is essential to that process. And when you sit down with a lending professional, that's what they're going to first talk to you about is credit score, pulling your credit and whatnot. So number two, organize your documents. Gather tax returns, bank statements, and more so the information that's easily accessible when you're ready. One part of the loan process, and I'm obviously a realtor, not a lender, so I always want to point to the professionals to deal with that. But one thing I can say as a realtor is, especially if you've never gone through the loan process, one of the things is you can get a pre-approval letter, but a lot of the heavy lifting starts at the underwriting process once you go under contract. And the lender and the underwriters are going to be requesting lots of documents, bank statements, all these things I just mentioned here. So getting that stuff squared away, getting it in order and ready to be part of the process, super, super important. So the next thing, lean on professionals. So build a team of trusted real estate professionals so you have expert advice along the way. So having a realtor like myself to help you on the real estate side, having a lender that can really walk you through the process, speak a language that you understand, and help you understand what the underwriting process is, and each step of the way they're there for you. Very, very important. And then the third group that's kind of part of this is the title company. Title company helps us find clear title. They help us in the process. That's where we're going to do the settlement at the very end of the process of buying a home. Incredibly important. So get a good team assembled. Make sure to know who you're working with, and make sure that they speak the language that you understand, since you may or may not have been through a real estate transaction before. The next thing is discuss loan types and terms. Learn about various loan types, their terms, and the durations to find out what's right for you. A lender is absolutely going to be able to put you in front of the loan that's going to work best for you. First-time home buyers, for instance, have the ability to use very specific loans that may have a very low to no down payment. And there's some really great programs. VA is also good for veterans and loans like that. But there's all types of loans, from FHA to conventional loans, USDA rural. They're very important to learn about and why they might be a good fit for you. And that's why the lender and having a good team of professionals around to help guide you through that process is very, very important. The next step and the last one is get pre-approved. Work with your lender to get pre-approved so you can begin with your home search for a good understanding of what you can borrow. I'm working with some buyers right now. This is the very, very first thing I say. Let's get the pre-approval. And we had actually started looking maybe 6 months, 8 months ago. Getting that pre-approval redone and updated was really helpful for us because it put us in the category of home that's priced at a level that they can handle the monthly payment. And with interest rates going up, that can change quite dramatically. So you want to make sure to have a pre-approval. It's an approval for what you can afford and also what you may want to be able to pay. Sometimes you don't want to always go with, hey, my pre-approval is at this high number, and then you look at the monthly payment, which is very, very important for most people, and you realize, hey, I might want to go a little bit lower. So the lender and I can work together to make sure we're searching for the correct properties that you're pre-approved for, and that just makes the process that much smoother. So this is your little real estate hot tip for the buyers this week. But don't be afraid to apply for a mortgage. It's an easygoing process if you have the right team of people around you. And I wanted to share that with you. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me directly. If you want to get in touch with the lender and get a pre-approval going, and that's something that we can easily do. So every week on the podcast, I always like to talk about community events. I like to leave that with you as something that might be coming up in the community that you can be a part of. And there's something really exciting going on here in Carbon County. The 15th annual Christmas Treasures Market. So it's a craft fair. It's going to be held at Carbon High School, 750 East, 400 North in Price, on Saturday, December 3rd from 10 to 5. It's going to be great. I love things like this. The holiday season comes up. You're going to have local vendors there bringing all their arts and crafts, things that you can buy, everything that you might want to go shopping for your family, and you can get it right here at the Treasures Market on December 3rd from 10 to 5. So be sure to check that out. Put it on your calendar. Make sure to support and, of course, get some gifts for your family for the holidays. So super excited to be here. Love doing the podcast and sharing with you everything that's going on in Carbon and Emery County here in Utah, keeping you up to date on the market. You can reach out to me directly. My number is 801-388-4047, or you can reach me at josh@madsen.team is my email. If you're on the social medias, at madsen.team on Facebook and Instagram. Definitely reach out if you have any questions about the market or the podcast. I would love for you to check it out. If you happen to be listening on Apple Podcasts, rate and review the podcast. Let me know what you think. If you have any ideas that you'd like to hear or things you'd like me to cover, I'm all ears and I'd love to do that. So until next week, I hope you guys have a great weekend. And I'm Josh Madsen with Real Estate Titans, and I'll see you for the next episode. Thanks.